What do you watch this?
It's over here. I'll take care of it.
You try to put it back so it's not messy.
Yeah, after this mold pour, I'm going to start cleaning. Okay.
I'm an idiot. I should use the same body for fucking Boba Fett.
Eh. I like the Boba Fett one you already got going on.
Mm-hmm.
I like the one that you're already working on when that feels good. Okay,
Well,
guys.
good enough, I guess.
That looks great. Yeah, that looks great.
I do like this area, though. I don't like that.
Fix it if you need to. Okay, so we're doing all the mold stuff today. A little earlier, I have a friend coming up tonight to hang out, so we're gonna do stuff later tonight. And yeah, that's why I'm doing a little earlier tonight.
You know where the all black extension cord is?
Yeah. Alright, phone's good enough for now. Charge the iPad.
Do you use it for putting there or something? Like I'm doing it?
No, it might be downstairs. Actually, now that I think about it. No. Sorry. Okay. We're gonna start demolding real quick. So I got some new tools for this next part. It'll help. I'm gonna cut into this with a scalpel. All right, these medical grade scalpels, they're really sharp. definitely be careful. But they glide right through the silicone really nicely. These are disposable ones, but we're not using them for surgical purposes, so we can use them until the blades are done. That's cheaper than buying the blades and the handle. It lasts a really long time. Oh. So super sharp. And I'm just cutting a little key groove on the side, a little way in, just like that. Open it up a little bit more, and cut in a different direction.
Holy moly.
I know, man. Jesus.
Got me!
Alright, I'm going to use that tool to open this up a little bit. If you have someone that can help you, it does make it a little faster. Jesus. Alright, sorry about that. I always forget what these are called. They make actual ones that are meant for like this purpose that'll hold it open better, but you got one hand, you gotta do this. These work great. You just do it in sections. So you squeeze the handle, opens up the crevice a little bit. You get in there with your X-Acto, with your scalpel, and just cut it out. That's it. That's more than enough to get the part out. That's where we'll have a seam. Okay, we'll look inside the mold. We don't have any surface bubbles or issues, that's good. So it looks great. We'll do the foot next. This one's a one-part mold, so nothing too crazy. We don't need to cut anything open, just remove tape. Styrene can be sharp, so just be careful when you're breaking these mold walls off. I use pliers usually just to make it a little bit easier. These flat, non-tooth pliers work great. The main thing, we're just making sure to get rid of all the issues you might have with your mold ahead of time. Alright. Peel this up carefully from the corner. Okay. We have a foot mold now. Not bad. And now comes the tricky part. This is the two-part mold. Also, definitely make sure to put a cap on your scalpel. These are super sharp, much sharper than your traditional X-Acto knife. And I'm just going to roll up some of the silicone. If you have a cleaner work surface than I do, which you hopefully you do, You can take these scrap bits of silicone, put them into a container that's not going to get dust, and then use them on molds that are having a hard time getting full all the way. And use that to take up some space in there. It's a good little hack. We use that all the time there. Right, Mice?
What?
Using the bits of silicone inside of molds.
The chunks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chunking them silicone molds up.
What is your lemon, just in case that I have some extra? I don't know if I will, but
Did you do it? If this music drives you crazy, let me know and I'll change it. Alright, I'm just removing the bits of clay the best I can. Alright, got most of the clay removed. Remove some of the tapes too. We're going to just break one all off at a time. So pry it off and just gently pull. We want to try to save these pieces if we can. We're going to use them on the opposite side for the ones that have too much clay on them.
I don't think I even gonna have enough for myself. Fucking shit.
Sorry, buddy. Alright, broke these off clean enough. Okay, we're going to pry the part up real carefully. Boom. Okay, so that's the old mold box there. Going around now, we're going to clean up all the clay that we can. Sometimes it's easier to work with like a cold metal tool because it'll peel off better. I find using like a ribbon tool or with these clay tools here that can just scrape off the clay. It's not going to cut into the silicone if you're using a tool that's a little bit blunted or rounded. And we're going to just break the silicone away from the part. So you want the part in place still. Just break the silicone away. Trying to not dislodge the part too much. If that does happen, it's alright. You just kind of make sure you place it as accurately as you can back to where it was. And we gotta clean the part off too, so however you choose to do that. Alright, remove all the nuts as well that we put in this. This piece here is a registration key. Move this registration key. All the registration keys gotta get out of here. Now comes the part of doing the clay cleanup, which isn't always the funnest part. One of the benefits if you use the bolts, if you have the like corresponding screw that will fit it, you can pop it out that way. I don't have any machine screws at the studio yet, but we got some in soon. Didn't have enough?
No, dude, look at that shit. Like, and I don't have any chance to put on it.
No?
No. I can't believe it.
I'm just gonna go around with this ball tool and do my best to clean the clay out. You can use alcohol for this too, and that will help break down the clay. The goal is to get it as clean as possible so you're not gonna have any bits left over, nothing's gonna affect your finish. Blow out all the dust. If you see dust, remove it. That stuff can affect the final finish. Oh, there's the So, just got some alcohol here. We're just gonna use this. We're gonna pour it into a tiny cup, and we're gonna use that to help clean the part off. I'm gonna grab some Q-tips and some brushes for this. Brushes work really well, like a soft brush. And we're not trying to coat it with too much, just enough to clean the part. Barely any left. All right. Got these little pointed Q-tips with the round part too, and a little piece of paper towel. I'm gonna dab this in, and I don't want to soak with too much alcohol, just enough to clean the edge. But what it does is it helps break down the clay.
I can't believe it.
Still not enough.
Even putting chunks.
I'm about to pour some silicone in a minute, buddy. So I'll definitely have extra. So one of the options we could do is if you wanted to make this like a glove mold, we could actually make the mold box a little bit bigger. It goes on the outside of all these areas here. And we'll spray it obviously with a mold release. But what will happen is it'll create a glove around this piece of silicone. And when we go to put it in the rotocaster, there's a 0 chance that the resin's gonna come out. Are we gonna do that for this one? If we don't like it, then we just cut out a channel and put the resin in that way. I'm gonna grab a clean one and just double check. We've got most of the areas pretty good. This looks very clean around the part. The part itself looks clean. Just gonna try a few more little spots that are giving me some problems and see if we can get those cleaned up very quick. Okay. So I'm just gonna check Discord. It looks like stuff's going on in there. Not my Discord, someone else's. All right. All right, that looks nice and clean, looking pretty good. We're gonna put the alcohol over here, and I think we're gonna try that glove box design. But see how we have this little lip here, these edges? We want to trim those nice and flush and flat if we can. So we're gonna grab the scalpel again, and we're gonna do that. I'm gonna put it down somewhere in front of me recently. It's around. Good thing I put the cap on it. Oh, there it is. So this will be sharp enough to just pull a little bit of pressure, like pull with a little pressure and get a nice clean edge. You honestly don't really need to. It's so sharp. Just cutting off that little tiny lip there. Really small amounts.
You don't like to do that with the scissors?
Oh, it's just what I have right here, but good.
Well, I'm gonna go down to prepare.
Okay.
So if you remember to drop a little silicone, it's like nothing.
No problem. I got you.
Fucking shit.
All right, got almost all the edges there. You can use scissors if you're more comfortable with scissors. Mike's made a good point. I usually use scissors for this, but okay, not too bad. We're gonna grab another piece of styrene that's a little thick, and we're gonna actually make the mold walls a little bit bigger this time. We have a zip kicker right now as well. And the zip kicker is going to allow me to dry the super glue instantly, like I was talking about yesterday. And we're going to actually create a bit of a mold wall around this that goes out just a little bit further. So it's going to fill in this area, and then it's also going to create an edge all the way around the piece. And what that's going to do is going to create a glove. And with the glove on there, we can put this in the rotocaster and be pretty confident that we're not going to have too much of a leak in there. And I don't actually need to put a screw on this because why would I make more work for myself if I don't need to? All right, so we got this on here. Gonna grab some of the rubbing alcohol. We're actually gonna place the rubbing alcohol on the plastic and then put the silicone on it, creating a bit of a suction. This actually works super well if you have a spray bottle that you can spray with, spray the alcohol out of instead, all over the surface, if it's clean, of course. That does work a little bit better. We're just going to put a little bit more. We just need enough for it to kind of spread out. So now when I place this on there, it's going to kind of get a nice little suction. So holding pretty well. Put some pressure. And we're just going to wipe up the excess leaking out of the sides. This will evaporate really quickly. This just helps the parts stick. And you don't want alcohol leaking out. If the alcohol is leaking out too much, what can happen is when you go to put the silicone, if there's alcohol there, it won't cure there and it'll break down. So a really small amount. And we're just gonna press it down again and make sure there's nothing coming out. Still got some stuff leaking. All right, so maybe a little too much. Let's wipe the bottom off. And just dab the surface just a little bit, so there's only a little bit on there. There we go. Not going anywhere. Yeah, I can feel the suction on the part when I pull it up. That's what we're looking for. So just gonna press down. And if you get it placed and you're happy with it, just work around it. Don't keep pulling it up and testing it. If you can feel enough suction, you're good. Okay. All right, we are good. So now we're gonna build the new mold wall around here. We have these scrap pieces from last night and the other day. So we're gonna actually figure out how far we want to do this. We're gonna grab a pencil and just mark again, kind of roughly where we're gonna do this, and use a little straight edge to kind of figure out how thick the walls are gonna be. You want them about 1/4 of an inch. You can go thicker if you want to, but again, that just depends how much material you want to use. This is gonna be quite a bit of material, so we want to be careful. Another thing I'll do, just to ensure that this stays stuck down, again, you can do whatever you want, but it can help keep the piece nice and secure on the part. Okay, so we have the thickness, we know how big we want the walls to be, and we know exactly about the height we're going to go for, so let's just get the max height. We'll cut these boards down, save us some time. Alright, so we're on the highest part of the model right now. We want to go a little bit above that, so we're going to go to about here. It's going to be basically a quarter all the way down. So we're going to go to the factory edge of this piece. This looks like this side here. Just got the pencil, just like if we were doing like some carpentry tricks similar, just run it along, gives you a general cut. Let's cut this out. So that was the, actually, sorry, that's the base line. We're going to the line above it. I'm going to mix it up full 8 ounces again of the silicone, just because I think that's pretty much all I got left. All right. Okay, we got our one edge. Let me grab the super glue real quick I just got. I'm going to show you how this stuff works. Okay, I got a couple types of super glue. We got some plastic bond, which is another Plastrek product. Plastrek product, okay, come on. I can speak today. This stuff is great. This is a general purpose super glue, so I really do like this one a lot for just kind of whatever. This is essentially what you get in the tube, just a little bit thinner. Whereas this is like a kind of like an acetone solvent cement. And then we have Zap Zappy Gap Glue. This stuff is great. This is the thicker stuff, which I like to use on the mold walls. Comes with a couple applicators. You pick which one you want. I think the stock one on here is pretty good. Let me just double check which one it is. Yeah. That's the non-fine point. So you can just cut this off however you want. I usually use a pair of nips for this. Some flush cutters, whatever you want to call them. Here we go. These guys. Go to the top. Flush cut that off. Okay. So that looks pretty good. We're going to add this piece here. Take this off. So we're just permanently putting it on. You can get even thinner ones, or you can pour this into a like syringe style piece or whatever you want to do. That's just for these bottles. Making it. This glue can come out kind of fast. It's a little bit thicker than the thin stuff. They make this also in like a liquid form, so you don't need it in a spray. But stuff is pretty gnarly stuff. So you want to just, you know, work always when you can in a well ventilated area. I don't have that here, so we're just going to do what we can. Got it filled with super glue, a very generous amount. We're gonna kind of hold it up for a few seconds, get it where we want it. That looks pretty good. Okay, that was probably more than enough. But now it's instantly bonded on there. It's nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. You want to try to avoid touching the glue tip to the accelerator if it's still wet with the accelerator, because what will happen is it will literally just get stuck there and it's not going anywhere once it's stuck. Okay, I'm gonna check this piece now. We have scraps, and we're trying not to make too big of a gap this time, so we're really doing our best to line these up nice and flush where we can. So precision is good when you can get it, but if you can't get it, you do your best. This is going to be more than enough space around this entire thing. I could probably even reduce the space, which I might just a little bit. Do it just like that. This one didn't come with a rubber cap. That sucks. Alright, well, that's fine. We'll just keep it a bit. Yeah, what was I looking for? Regular X-Acto, or just a cutting tool. There we go. I got it marked. Okay, I'm gonna drop a little here on the top. Let it run down. I'm gonna fill this gap in, and on the bottom. It's nice and full right there. Give the zip one more time. They do make like a needle spray version of this, which is kind of nice. If you've never used this before, too, know that it does get very hot. Oh, we have a little bit of wet stuff on there, so we're just gonna pour this over the edge. That's all the leftover zip cake. See how it turns yellow? It instantly cures the glue. So it fills in any gaps if you have things and projects. That's what you want to use this stuff for. It really does a great job of filling this stuff in. So it's pretty secure. We're just checking the wall here, making sure there's no leaks. Looks pretty watertight. That's always the biggest thing you want to check, is make sure it's as watertight as you can get it. And sometimes I'll just get a little bit in the inside, and there will be some zip kicker on the bottom that will kick it, and we'll be good to go. All right, if you guys are just joining for the first time and haven't watched the past videos, if you want to see the character around, actually probably still up on my Instagram story. So go check that out. It's just at Wolfbits as well. If you're also just tuning in, if you are interested in doing more like design toy stuff or the process of making designer toys, definitely make sure to like the video and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. And every time we continue to grow the channel, it allows me to improve the quality of the videos and the live streams, which is super important. Okay. Well, I misplaced the cap to the scalpel. Here it is. We're gonna put this over somewhere where we can find it quickly when we need it. This is very sharp, so I don't want to lose the cap. My studios are normally not this messy, but the last couple sessions that we've done this have been super long, late all-night sessions. Okay, there we go. The next part. All we need to get to, and just keep using glue. Okay, that's that wall there. Got some zip here on the inside here. Just gonna clean that out a little bit with some alcohol. So usually I don't spray zip kicker on the inside, but I had a little bit of pulling of super glue. Just wanted to make sure it was cleaned out. I'm just cleaning it off the part. If you get anything on there. Okay. That gap is nice and sealed. And we're almost ready to mix the next batch of silicone. I'm actually super excited about that. We'll also cast the parts that are already ready to go. Sometimes if you're not pressing on it, I always forget this, I do this all the time. If you're not pressing on the part and you just try to zap it, it'll actually push the part away where there's not glue, right? So you'll actually make a bigger gap. It'll fill in and just keep expanding the gap. So make sure you take care of that. And that looks nice and watertight there. Got our last piece. Not gonna bother cutting this one down. It'll fit perfectly and we'll have a breaking point when we're ready to take this out. you can see how it's curing on the side, where there's some zip kicker already. It's already cured. Make sure it's nice and watertight. You try to be careful when you're using this stuff. It is gnarly. I probably should have a mask. My filters are dirty. I'd be breathing in more harmful stuff using it. We are planning to get fume hoods in here at some point. We talked about that, so that might be something that we get if we continue to do toys and it kind of grows, and especially if we start doing more production stuff and people really want to buy the toys, we'll be investing in all the equipment we need to stay safe in here. Alright, we look pretty watertight now. Doesn't seem to be any issues. If you want to, just to be safe, which I think we're going to try to do, we're going to actually back this up with some clay. So that's nice and secure there. We have the tip of this. I thought this had a cap, but it doesn't have a rubber cap, and I don't have any extras anywhere, so we're going to press this on. This is the best we can for the best. I wonder if this will come off. It's supposed to be a refill for smaller bottles, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's coming off. That's all right. All right. If you have a zip kicker on your fingers, it'll dry on your fingers, so just be careful of that. God, I hate that feeling of super glue on my fingers when it dries. It's terrible. All right, that's fine. That's good there. I'm gonna fucking sand my fingers a little bit. We want to make sure everything's nice and dry in there. It looks like we're good. We don't have anything that's moving around. We're gonna hold the part up when we turn it, just to make sure we don't undo that suction that's in there. Just an extra bit of safety. I don't see any glue dripping anywhere. We look good. Grab clay. And just in case, it's always good to do like a little watertight seam on the edge here with the clay. Especially if we're making a glove style mold where we're gonna actually encase the old part. And we have to really hit this with a lot of mold release right now for this to work well. So we're using the man's mold release to not over apply. The reason you don't want to over apply it because the texture will build up. Pull it from about 30 centimeters away. Yeah, and you just want to coat it, and I believe it's 10 minutes drying, but yeah, so this is a mold release agent here for urethanes and resins. It also prevents silicone from sticking to silicone. So it creates a tiny barrier between the two so they'll actually separate. If you don't use this, what would happen if you pour silicone on there? You would just get a giant block. At some point in the next couple of days, hopefully tonight if I have time, I'm going to actually do a whole video, or not a video, sorry, a supply list of all the materials I use in all the videos, because I'm sure people have a lot of questions and I can't really see what's going on the screen. If I open the YouTube app, then the music's done and I kind of just need some music for my sanity right now. Working in silence is very frustrating to me, actually. It just drives me absolutely crazy. I feel like I'm less productive and I get cranky and frustrated. A little bit easier when things aren't working or going the way I need them to go. But yeah, feel free though if you have questions, leave comments. I'll answer all the questions, all the comments, the video, and then if you have any other questions too, you can also reach me on my other social media, Instagram, on TikTok, wherever. It's all under Wolfbits, it's all the same thing. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really use Twitter. It's kind of like a joke place for me with my friends. But I still have the Wolfbits tag on that too, so hit me up on Twitter. While I'm doing this, I'm going to actually spray the inside of here. Just really get it coated well. Not overcoating it, just doing what I can to. And it's okay if it's on the walls. You just want to make sure it's all over the silicone. We're going to let that dry for a few minutes while I'm doing the clay stuff. So by the time I'm done with the clay, we can mix the silicone and drop it. God, the free stream music kind of sucks. Really, just that's the one thing that drives me nuts about streaming too. It's just not much music options really. Like there's just nothing other than like chill beats or whatever. It's fine, but it's just sometimes I just want to listen to some fucking punk and hardcore and skate shit. Not have my video shut down. It's like the least punk thing ever. Yeah, guys, the watch time has also been super great on these videos, so I really do appreciate you guys kind of sticking around for stuff that's awesome. But definitely make sure to like this video. I gotta get past my goal, man. I think 16 is the most likes the video has received ever out of all my live videos the last couple of years. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have some music for sure in the background. Definitely, it's a lot better than the silence or the sound of the friggin' air compressor or the spray booth fan. Alright. This feels pretty good. This is getting nice and dry. We're gonna just let this in a few more minutes. Then we're gonna mix up the next batch of silicone. And we're gonna pour it all into here, and then all the excess is gonna go into the other two molds I have over there on my Isa's table. He's got a project going on, the Godzilla toy thing he showed you guys the other night. He's already molding that thing. That thing's almost ready to go. And we'll get into bootleg design and kind of that process in like another video series for sure. But we're just doing an original character right now, which I feel like most of you, that's what you want to make anyway. You want to make your own characters from your drawings or whatever. All right, this looks pretty good. Nice and watertight. This has probably been sitting long enough. Honestly, it looks nice and dry. So we'll mix the silicone up. And we'll get it going. That's the cup we used last time. Always so satisfying to peel that stuff out. It's great. You could even reuse this stuff too. The silicone's just going to peel off it completely. And my ace is doing a Tabori tat right now downstairs in the tattoo studio. So our art studio is right above our tattoo studio. So he's doing that. I am the apprentice, but I'm not learning Tabori. I have an interest in it, but it's not really something that's easy to teach until you understand the fundamentals of regular tattooing. So that's why I'm up here doing toy stuff while he's doing that. I'm probably not going to share much of my apprenticeship process though on YouTube. I think that's like kind of more of a personal thing, and just it's a part of me, but not all of me for creative stuff. All right, No, we're gonna leave this in here. We're gonna start with a clean cup. Make it easy. Why not? Okay, same as last time. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So as much as I have part A or B, we'll do the B first this time. Shouldn't really matter too much. One's a catalyst, so they're evenly like mixed and everything. They have the same amount in each bottle. So as long as you're not spilling any, you should be good. I gotta get as much of this out as I can. I think we're actually not even gonna have enough. I think we're only gonna have 3 ounces of this one, so that kind of sucks. I'm gonna grab just a bigger popsicle stick from my last ones, and because this is all of the silicone, we're just gonna go in there and scrape out what we can. It's usually a good amount if it gets stuck on the inside of the bottle towards the bottom. So just gonna pull that out as much as we can. All right, a little above the 3. I think that's all we're getting. Yeah, that's all we're getting. That's a bummer. All right, hopefully we have enough. Okay, so just a little bit above 3 on that one. We gotta do just a little bit above 6 all the way with this one, and then we'll mix them so they're even. If you're not confident in your ability to kind of guess, if you have something that's slightly over, don't. I'm gonna call that the cutoff point right there. It really sucks. That's all I can get out of these. I'm gonna flip them upside down and let the silicone that is in there kind of go to the bottom if it can. Hopefully it can. But we'll have enough for this part. We might not have enough to help my use out, which is kind of a bummer. Sorry, dude. The reason I put the white in first this time is because I want to be able to make sure I have a thorough mix, and the white will stand out a lot more on the wall than the red. So want to really thoroughly mix it. Make sure you scrape that all in there. Just go until you have a nice consistent color. Same thing on the bottom. Scraping all the bottom. And you can scrape the stick off and get all that mixed in there as well. All right, we got everything hit with the mold release, nice and thoroughly. Just gonna spritz it one more time away from my silicone that I'm mixing so it doesn't mess anything up. Okay. While I'm mixing, this will have plenty of time to settle. I barely spritzed it from really far away. Okay. I really hope this is enough now that I'm looking at this. I don't think it's going to be. I'm kind of bummed out. That would be very disappointing, but sometimes you just got to work with what you got. Oh yeah, this is going to be barely enough to cover this whole thing. So we're going to use the silicone chunk method if I have any chunks kicking around. I know Mai said he did not. What an awful thing to happen right now. Alright, well that sucks. Definitely don't want that to happen, but it does happen. Thought it would actually be enough, but I definitely made the walls a little too thick, so that's okay. We're gonna just scrape out what we can out of this cup. And I think my ace has some extra silicone somewhere, so we're gonna tap into his, and I'm gonna go buy some more. So yeah, the glove mold, making a little bit more than I thought. I thought that would be enough, but we had less than I thought to begin with. If we had the exact 8 ounces, it would have been perfect, but we don't, so that's okay. Oh, buddy. Okay. So we're gonna let that kick over here. We're gonna grab another fresh cup because this is just too much. Yeah, last time we went, we bought all of the silicone that they had. So that is why we don't have more to mix. Okay. So we're gonna just do 4 ounces this time. I'm gonna try to mix this while this is still green too, just to make sure we get a nice bond, but if you don't get it there, not a big deal. Okay. Let's see how much we got out of this. Probably nothing. Okay. Maybe. Let's see. Not terrible. Got a little bit more out of it. Want to get as much out as you can out of these containers. This is the same type of silicone from the same brand, so that's the only reason I'm even attempting to marry these together. Normally I wouldn't even bother because it's just so much risk, but just need to get to the 2.5 mark. Come on. All right, not terrible. Almost at the 2.5 mark. Just need like a drop more. This one's cooked. Grab a drop from the new one, just a drop. Perfect. All right, same thing with the old one. We grab as much of this out as we can, and we just gotta get to the 5 mark. So the stick doesn't really take up much space, so if you're curious about that, it's not really a big deal. The stick's in there. Again, we're just trying to get out as much as we can. Yeah. Very hard resource to come by right now. Okay, let's do this again. Alright. This stick sucks for this. Too small. We're gonna grab another one. We're gonna grab the old one. Oh, it's just mixing. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, that looks pretty thoroughly mixed there. Just gonna pour a thin stream again. I want to make sure this is topped off and level. Okay, we're gonna fill the other molds up with the excess. You have some. Okay, so those are good to go. We're gonna let this sit for a minute. It's doing pretty good. You can also try to pop the bubbles if you need to. So you can just kind of vibrate the mold a little bit. This helps get all the bubbles out. If you have any on the surface, you need to try to pop them like a pen. One of the things I like to do when I can is I actually use the torch and just go right over the surface very quickly. I don't leave it on there, I just pass it over. What the fire does, it helps break the surface tension. If there are any bubbles, they pop immediately. So you just go just like that. Same thing works with resin, just breaking the surface tension. And that's it. I'm gonna wash my hands off with some alcohol and some soap. And then we're gonna move on to casting the parts that we need to make the legs and the arms. Sorry, and the music stopped, I just realized. Sorry about that. So let's get that going. Back. Sorry about that. Oh. Know what happened? It linked to the hideout. We're listening on the iPad. All right. Sorry about that. He might be tattooing down there. That's why. So it's connecting to the to the shop. All right. Hopefully the video doesn't get taken down for that one. All right. We're back. I'm gonna move this mold somewhere with less dust. I'm gonna grab some resin. We're gonna pour all the parts of resin that we need. Ooh, what an experience. What a day. So much going on. Okay, so for parts that we need to pour, I have this mold here, which I'm going to do some cleanup because it's definitely messy and it's not going to stand on its own. I'll probably use some scissors for this one just to make it a little bit straighter. Another mold. Where is Dude, I cannot wait to actually clean this workbench off. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be great. But I'm not gonna film myself cleaning the workbench because why would I do that? That would be so boring. Remember, if you get silicone on you, some rubbing alcohol wipes right off. We're gonna clean this up actually because this is wet silicone. Some alcohol on there. Comes right up. Or if you can leave it and let it sit and dry, it'll peel right off afterwards. So. Also need to keep these original mold parts away from dust if I can, which not doing the best job. Sawdust or resin dust everywhere. Shit. Alright, I can't find my regular scissors that I use. Oh, there they are. Found them. Always as I say that. Just gonna trim off all these pieces that aren't flat. So this has an easier time sitting. These are all contaminated with resin dust, so I can't really use these scraps. Alright, that's one mold. Got this one here too, which needs to stand up. I also need to put rubber bands on it, apparently, because how I cut the groove in there. I'm also cutting off these edges that are not consistent the best that I can, just to make sure we have a nice even way to close this mold. If we have too much of a lip on one side like this, we'll have a hard time closing it with a rubber band or tape. There we go. Nice flat edge there. Nice and easy. All right, rubber band will go around that no problem. So we're gonna grab our rubber bands. I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes as well while we're doing that. So in 30 minutes, we're gonna have everything we need cured and ready to go to pour more resin. And then we're gonna pop something in the rotocasting machine. We're gonna test that out with the resin. That's gonna take a while. It takes about 30 minutes. So I'll probably do like a Q&A then. Right now we're gonna pour some more resin into these parts and make a couple copies. We're running low on gloves in the space. So I'm just reusing the gloves that I've been using that aren't super dirty. All right, guys, we're doing great on this video. We're actually only like an hour, a little over an hour in. And now we can and actually we got 12 likes. That's great. One viewer, so whoever's watching, you're the best. Okay. I'm gonna mix some more resin and get some more cups that haven't been used yet. So always start with fresh cups if you have contaminant in yours. You got cups somewhere. Here we go. Okay, these cups are also great if you got to do multiple colors, and you can mix individual colors and do swirls and marbling and all that. Lots of extra ones here. I'm gonna pour out part A and B, and just figure out how much we need. I think we're gonna need about a full ounce in each one, and we'll get a bigger cup to mix in. So. And before I grab the parts A, I'm actually going to get another mold ready that we have before we do that, so we can make sure that we have a nice extra mold ready to go. Where did I put that screw from last night? Oh, here we go. Mold drill press. We get this part out. Other leg part, looking pretty good. Get a bigger cup to mix in. That's gross. I had a big cup somewhere. Okay, we just got a regular measuring cup and do that in just a second. Okay, there we go. You know what, we're gonna add some color to this, because why not? Alright, we're gonna do a little bit of blue in there. We're gonna mix in the part B. Just do like a drop or two. Because this resin cures white, it's going to be like a really bright light blue. And we're not going to really worry about it too much. We're just going to mix it in there, add a little bit more color to our project. Because why not? We can. And that's fun. Just being careful, making sure not to spill it. We want to thoroughly mix the blue into part B. Alright, nice and blue. I'm gonna use one of these little silicone mixing cups. So these are great for pouring. These are just made of silicone. Pop your resin in there, mix it in, mix it up. That's good to go. Okay. Okay. That's part B. The other reason I like to color like this outside, obviously to make sure I have enough time, but I can tell which cup's A and B pretty easily. The one that's more blue is going to be the B part. This will be the A part. I'll just mark these cups because we're going to use them again. So I'll just put like A and B. We'll keep using these till we can't use them anymore. And we're just going to thoroughly mix inside this cup. Those little chunks of white resin here that are stuck to the surface of the silicone, that's also not like the end of the world. That's actually fine. We're going to be able to handle that. No problem. Not going to be an issue. I forgot to grab tape or rubber bands for this guy, so we're going to do that real quick. Got some tape here. Just use my hands to do this without gloves on because it's hard to pull the tape. They stick to the gloves very easily. I'm going to pull a generous amount, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on this mold to keep it closed. Just enough to get the tape lined up, like so. You don't want to deform the mold. When they're this small, they can get deformed pretty easily. So we're just making sure there's enough pressure to keep the incision closed while made. And if you use a rubber band that's too powerful on this, it'll actually deform the mold. So we're not going to do that. Nice and simple. Keep it easy. Okay, that looks like it's good. I actually have these silicone mixing sticks that I really like. My ace has them. I'm borrowing them. They're just like fiberglass rod or steel rod coated in silicone, so you can peel the resin off after once it builds up. We're gonna start filling our molds. Really taking our time to get them nice and effective. We're gonna over pour this one just a little bit. Boom. Exactly what we want. There's going to be some shrink in this, so that's why I'm over pouring it. And this one I actually designed to have an over pour so it's easy to sand. Okay, that's that one. We got plenty of resin to do some more molds. Let's do another mold and just test it out. Okay, looking pretty good. I got to switch to power real quick. We got these like vampire teeth molds, and I have some skull molds, and some other just like generic store-bought molds. I'm probably going to use the rest of this resin with. I can't seem to find them, so you know what? We're just using this one right here. I'm just going to pour it in, make sure these are free of dust and dirt. They look great. I have another toy project that I got these molds for. But I was gonna use monster clay, but we'll do a resin version just in case we were able to use it. Okay, that's that. So this resin takes a little while to set up, and that's fine. We're gonna let it do its thing. We grab some sheets of styrene to slide these molds onto and get them out of the way. So we got a thick piece here. Slide them on top. Move the molds off the station. Let them cure. Okay, just carefully, very carefully lift these up. Yeah, a little bit of spill, no big deal. It happens. And molds that might tip over, I try to keep them placed together so they're supported by each other. This styrene sheet might be a little thin, so I might double it up with another one. All right. Normally I cast on the tray that's easier to transport and move around, but it's currently got other stuff on it that's drying, so, or curing. All right, there we go. I'll move these to our cure table. I got a little spillage. Nothing too crazy, just gonna grab a syringe and clean that up. I can't move the camera fast enough before it's gonna set up, so sorry about that. All right, got those transferred. Just gotta hit the bubbles out. Be right back. Okay, so that's gonna probably do it for this stream for right now. We'll be back in like 30 minutes. I'm gonna spend some time cleaning the studio. I will update you guys once that's clean and done and taken care of. But thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. stay tuned for part 4. It'll be probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes. That will be me pulling all the parts out and then roto casting, so it'll be like a Q&A style thing instead. And by then, I think my buddy Andre is going to be here. I'll call it for the night. And that'll be it, guys. Thanks for hanging out, man. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys in a bit.